Welcome everyone to another adventure into reality as something is taking over my screen and not allowing me to see myself there. If anyone has their video on, please turn off your video. Please turn off your video. Robert, my screen is up and I see somebody else's name in place. Can you figure out what's going on?
Be right there. I'm getting
Never
some
mind.
toilet paper.
Okay, never mind. I figured it out. I wasn't pinned to my own screen. I'm just being a dumb host. Well, everyone, welcome to another adventure into reality. Over the last couple of weeks, people have been making comments about roasting people on shows. So in a little bit, actually, whoever has their hand up, put your hand down. They're gonna get the stare. Lisa and Latoya, put your hands down. You weren't told to put anybody's hands up yet. Anyone with their hands up doesn't gonna get called on. So over the next few weeks, we're going to be featuring a faster set of segments in which we are going to open the barbecue pit, the shaman's fire, and roast away those traumas. So we'd like everyone to pop on down into the chat room and talk about roasting hour. And if you'd like to come up with a roasting image, you could message Robert in the private chat, and we can get an email from you, or we can figure out how to get a quote and a picture from you about roast. So, Robert Brown, today is one of those days we're going to rush through callers. So I'm going to tell people, raise your hand now. Let's see how fast that actually happens. Who wants to be featured on the roasting hour? Oh, look at all those hands go up. Oh, not even half of you are volunteering. The other half of you are all chicken shit. Full on chicken shits. We may force you to raise your hand. Let's roast away your traumas. Let's spin up the wheel of roasting, Robert, and see who the first roasty is.
Okay, I think Christopher, you're first on the list. Let's go with you.
Christopher, are you there?
Yes, I am. I can't believe I'm on.
Great. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Far Hills, New Jersey.
Far Hill, New Jersey. Welcome to the roasting hour. What subjects do you want to roast away from your soul?
I would love to roast away some. Oh man, what to roast away? That's a really good question. I mean, all of that adds to a lot of flavor and lots of lessons. So
we'll get you some nice crust and I'll cover you in barbecue sauce.
All right, well, that sounds exciting. Of course, now my friend also arrives. So where should we begin? With Mike telling you what you should. Okay, roast me for what happened on August 9th, 2011 that I was involved with.
Roast you for that. Well, tell me about that day.
Well, it was a really interesting day. I'll tell you the background story for it. So I was working on, let's see, how do you say this? I was taking a workshop to learn how to create sacred space, creating etheric grid.
Mm-hmm.
And in it, during it, as I was being taught this process, I said something because I was thinking that maybe, I said, do you think, to the teacher of this, I said, do you think that Moses had the help from some ETs of some kind to help like part the Red Sea or something? Because I was just curious and I'm very open-minded with all kinds of things. And she said, she looked at me and she went into that sort of altered state and she said, Chris, someday you're going to do something much more than Moses. And I thought to myself, okay, that sounds good. I have no idea what. Years later, after my dark night of the soul had been, thoroughly explored, she says to me in the first week of August of 2011, she said, Chris, you better get ready because the most important day of your life is coming up in the second week of August. Something is coming down the pipe and you need to be ready. And so I thought, oh, that's really interesting because, I'm kind of an inquisitive, holistic type. And So I was thinking about it and thought about a couple of things, and I have a very strong tendency to be clairsentient and pick up on things. So oddly enough, I had this crush on a girl, and she wanted to become American, right? And so she was Canadian. She wanted to become American. Thank you. It roast that. And she said something that just led me to believe that I had to do something to make sure that America would be okay, because supposedly the thing that my teacher said was that it would make 9/11 look like a tea party. So knowing what I know about scalar electromagnetics and the ability to do things with earthquakes and what had happened in the earlier part of the year with the transocean horizon, what was that called? The whole thing in the Gulf of Mexico when it blew up on the
BP oil well spill.
BP oil well spill, right? So that was right on the third eye of the Earth. And anyways, I didn't know that at that point, but I felt like there was going to be, because I read on military.com that there was going to be a big drill, like drills. And so it seemed like, oh, they're planning a drill and they're saying, we're the best. We learned so much. We've got it all together. We're ready for cyclones. We're ready for earthquakes. We're ready for alien invasion. We're ready for everything. They literally said that on military.com's homepage.
And nothing happened.
No. So what I recall at that moment was the future maps from like the early 1900s of the Gulf of Mexico going up to the Great Lakes, of like, all that earth crust, that earth changes type stuff. So I thought to myself, well, knowing what I know about the scalar electromagnetic fields, and having done tons of stuff with my Merkaba over the years, while I was in my meditation, I called out and connected through all our sun to all of the other suns in our galaxy, and contacted all of the different civilizations, councils that I could, and asked for direct help. I said, give me a hand. I like that. That's good. That's funny. E.T.'s roasting.
Roasted E.T.
That's some tasty roasting. So anyway, so I had this download of what to do, and I used my Merkaba to do something underneath the crust of the Earth with the Earth to basically turn off the scalar electromagnetic systems for weather control worldwide. And that day, the weather changed dramatically. People that I spoke to in other places in the world were like, it's heaven, like we're like spring now in San Francisco. Everything became beautiful for 3 days. And I was in bliss on a level that I can't even describe. And so, I mean, I was kind of hoping that I could get your perspective on that day, so if it registered in the.
I want you to feel the fire, feel the warmth. Could it possibly be that the individual you tapped into a collective experience of weather change, and it wasn't actually you that changed the global weather pattern and shut down a global scalar system that has tens of millions of people supporting it?
Yeah.
Can you take the I out of you doing it?
Well, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean,
so doesn't that change the whole story if you take the I out of you accomplishing that task?
Well, I participated in it.
No,
I mean, that's the main thing.
You were sharing an experience that Earth was allowing you to be a part of.
Right.
Is now the nature of the experience changed, and the whole story would be told differently?
Well, the story that I'm telling is the story that I have around it, that all of these things, culminated in my participation with it. And I've always viewed it as my participation in a much larger plan. But
you didn't tell the story that way, which in the roasting hour, this is roasting hour. So don't take this other than the grain of salt of re-examination. This is what this is for.
Right.
This is nuances. This isn't flaws. This is nuances. And the level you're working at, you have to be aware of your nuances, because that's what will be used against you when you decide to work at super high levels.
Right.
Okay. So let's look at the nuance of identity, because many people say, I did this to the world. I did this to the world. How many callers have you heard saying, I stopped the sun? Whatever it is they were saying, they did it.
Well, okay? It's never just an individual I am presence that does everything. It's really by tapping into the all and everyone and participating with
100% right.
It's like,
but remember, we're dealing with the nuances at high frequency for you.
Okay.
And you're going forward is, how do you be aware of the nuances of your high frequency so they can't be used against you?
All right, that's a very good point. Do you have any advice on that?
First thing first is just because you know something about scalar waves doesn't mean you know it all.
No, of course not. I
But
feel
you
like
reiterated it 4 times. Did you realize that?
I thought I did twice, but 4 times
4 times. You said the exact same statement, meaning it's a repetitive statement that your ego uses
Okay.
for justification and conversation.
Okay.
Have you used that statement with other people?
To tell the
What
story.
I know about scalar waves, what I know about scalar waves, what I know about scalar waves, what I've learned about scalar
Not
waves.
often, not very often.
That's called subconscious reinforcement of the ego.
Okay.
What you should now do is be aware of some of your repetitive statements. Okay. And then ask yourself, what do I really know?
Right.
I've read some books, I've studied some videos, I've done this, I've done this. The rest is in my knowingness that spirit is providing me.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
Okay? Acknowledging what spirit is providing and how you interact with it will help eliminate some of those parasympathetic trigger words that can just keep you on the edge of super infinite, but having a little bit of ego there.
Right. Right. Yes, that makes a lot of sense. And that's always been one of my struggles.
Everyone has it, even me. Yeah. I don't like to roast people, but apparently it has taken off and we're doing a roasting hour now. And I'm trying to calmly roast you here with understanding that you are our high frequency being. I can tell right away. But just like all the other high frequency beings in the world out there, you're at the level where you must be absolutely aware of your little micro flaws.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Okay. So I said nothing happened in 2011 other than you had 3 days of good weather. Did anything happen in 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020?
Yeah, the stasis is maintaining, like the safety is on. We're good. We're safe.
Right. So the conclusion your brain has made, not necessarily the subconscious conclusion was someone had told you something was going to happen, something happened, and then you had a new beginning point.
Right.
Do you need new beginning points, or can you create your own?
Well, yeah, I've been struggling with creating my own because I have, some really creative, fun ideas, and been planning and learning and creating, foundations. But to launch, to bring it out, to actually execute, maybe I'm just a little pussy about it. Excuse my language, but I'm thinking
No, use the language, or you just want to do it with a friend and companion around.
Okay, thanks, Taylor. I'm sorry, what was that?
Someone to share it with. Okay. You want someone to share the ideas with. Another genius to play ball with. For far too long, you're throwing the ball out and it doesn't come back to you. That sucks, doesn't it? Oh, you're muted, Chris. Hold on, let's unmute you. There you go.
There we go. Sorry about that. Sorry,
go.
somebody talking to me.
Sorry. All too often, you throw the conversation ball out and it never comes back.
Yes.
Sometimes it hits the person in the head and rolls around on the floor.
Usually.
Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So somebody you respected years ago told you of something that your brain created as a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Right.
What other self-fulfilling implanted prophecies are around you that your brain, not the I am, and subconscious are using to justify elevations, changes, and perceptions?
What do you mean in justifying them? I don't feel like I'm in a particular...
Your subconscious,
okay.
Not you. The brain, not the I am. How many calls have you heard call into the show and said, I had a dream 25 years ago and it's still affecting me 25 years later?
Yeah, I've heard that a few times.
Hundreds. Okay. Why does one event in people's history stick with them?
Because it's effective, because it feeds into something that they want, that they get latched into, and it becomes a little bit like a chain, you might say.
Or a manic obsession.
Right.
So somebody who's high frequency must look at the past as things that are their own personal choice of subconscious implants to keep subject matters lasting.
Okay.
So when you look into your past, what have you been reinforcing in yourself?
Well, I've been reinforcing several things. I've been reinforcing my identity as a digital webmaster, maestro, multimedia identity.
Mm-hmm.
That's the sort of surface level, out external, out in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Internally developing evolutionary catalyst type of personality.
Mm-hmm.
A holder of knowledge, but not necessarily out in the world, still in a hermetic mode, but trying to break through to not be so hermetic, but to be accessible and successful in a way that's appropriate and that's not,
Okay.
big ego or big branding.
Can you live without those definitions in your subconscious and conscious? You can still have them, you just can't allow them to rule you. This is a test. Again, we're working at nuance layers here. So this is a little micro flame going at a little fat cell over there, okay? Charring away some of the stuff. And you change all the definitions for a month.
Okay.
No longer use any of those previous definitions and come up with something completely brand new that's off the wall different for you. And as a self-explorer, see how you go back to those old habit patterns and which ones are true subconscious implants, both positive and negative, and which ones are honestly negative subconscious implants that feed the ego's presence.
Right. Well, I'll have to do that. I'll have to see.
It's an exploration project. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what is something opposite of all of what you just said?
Opposite of everything.
Let's create an alternate you as for the next month of exploration. Meow. And cat likes it too.
Yeah, this is a nice cat. It's hard. I don't know. I really would. How do I do an opposite version of my existing?
Doesn't necessarily need to be inverted or opposite. It doesn't even need to follow a pendulum's process. It just has to be something that's not what you just restatement of what you just said.
All right. So the reason why this is difficult is because I have several of them going, and because
you identify with all of them.
Right. So how do I lose all of them and still maintain?
You're not losing them. You're not losing them. This is for the purpose of exploration, self-examination. You're not erasing them and deleting them off of your hard drive.
Okay.
You're going for purpose of self-explanation. I have perfect mental, spiritual, and body control because I know I'm working at high levels, that I can do these experimentations and discover great things about myself. Okay, you're a person, you had said before, following the path of spirit, all that other stuff that you said. How about I'm just an everyday normal person who uses spirit to allow myself to live?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, you're an IT person and videographer. How about you say, I'm just a hobbyist?
Well, I'm not. I have a company and I'm launching a brand and a company.
I know all that, but this is for this is micro roasting for self-exploration.
Dialogue type level?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that.
Right.
I can wear any mask if I need to.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to.
And allow yourself to observe how those subconscious patternings insert themselves as you're in this observation process.
So what you're saying is I should convert to a sense of innocence, sort of experience innocence perhaps, so I can observe and not be attached.
More like lessening the potency behind the reinforced words.
Okay.
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 So toning it from macrovolts to microvolts.
That'll be interesting.
Okay. And then come up with one or two things that's not you. I'm a rap artist for a month. Okay.
Yeah, it'll be fun to be somebody else for one.
And as a video guy, you can come up with a rap persona and make some rap videos in the next month.
Yes.
Even though it's totally against you. Okay.
I can breakdance.
Okay. There you go. Make a breakdance video. Okay. This is called persona exploration.
Right.
Anyone who's operating at the high levels has to learn to do it.
Yeah, the caretaker personality, you might say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes, it's been a while since I've really looked at that.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Sounds like a plan.
Okay. Now, the next thing about roasting people, sometimes you discover unique parts of them that once you apply the fire to them, they drip a lot of what I call psychic fat.
Okay.
And there's a couple areas in you where you've got a lot of psychic fat dripping off of you. You ever seen a pig roast?
In my imagination, I don't think I've ever seen an actual
You'd
one.
ever seen anything roast on an open fire where it starts dripping lots of juice?
No, not an open fire dripping juice.
Okay.
Well, I can imagine what you're saying.
Well, it starts dripping and dripping and dripping. And right now, you've got some areas of your younger personality who are fat and juicy and influencing the adult you. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but for the adult high frequency you to always be in charge, they have to take the authority out of the younger yous who are filling you full of juicy fat.
Okay, I understand.
There was a younger you driven like a mofo. Okay.
Yeah.
How old are you now?
47 in June.
Okay. You're not 17 anymore, are you?
No, still feel like it somewhat, but not so much.
What are some of the things you did when you were 17 you still do today? 17 to 20.
Well, I still enjoy reading books. There's very little that I was actually doing in those times that I'm doing now.
Think. You in a relationship?
No,
Were you doing it back then? Looking for one?
I was in one at that age.
Okay. Is that influencing you today to wanting to be in a relationship?
Maybe, maybe not. I mean,
Said with doubt in your voice.
Well, I'm just wondering, like, what do you mean? Do you mean that I'm influenced to not want to be in a relationship, or I'm influenced
subtly influencing your daily energies of attraction and repulsion?
Oh, that's different. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I could see that.
Okay. So that's the next thing you can begin to explore with your 17-year-old pheromones still programming the 47-year-old you.
Right.
And programming 47-year-old pheromones.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's something you did when you were younger that you had it as a hobby or great pleasure you still do today?
Dancing. I've always been very happy losing my mind and letting the music have its way with my form.
Okay. And what does it do for the adult you now?
Makes me enjoy it just as much as I ever did. I mean, it keeps me limber a little bit more. I mean, it keeps me loose. And
but you don't do it for the same reason as you did when you were younger.
Well, I guess I do it more now for just the experience of it. And back then it was all new, and I would do it more publicly.
There you go. It gives you a completely different experience. So the next part of some of the self-work is looking back at the different eras of you who got different forms of positive, negative, or neutral experiences out of dancing, and begin to create definitions for the previous yous who got different forms of experience, so that the next time you go to dance, you consciously say, I'm using this experience, this experience, this experience,
right,
all in one dance session.
So there was like the performance art, modern art type of modern dance type of theatrical style. Then there was going out dancing at clubs and having a great time. And then there's like Tai Chi and moving and making it very esoteric and just flowing. Mm-hmm. So all these are different modes of that tapping in.
So you want to identify the many modes and then create a dance session that consciously, intentionally uses all the modes for one session. And then you pause and you contemplate, did I miss anything?
Oh, that's good. That's actually really brilliant.
Okay. Again, your high frequency and its nuances for your next level of exploration. Okay. So what are you spiritually exploring now?
I'm spiritually exploring, not spiritually exploring. I've had a hiatus of my practice since August of last year, where I pulled back and trying to just be a normal human being, and letting the energy that has been flowing through me for decades re-emerge as a natural flow versus trying to force it with practice.
Before for your practice?
10 years of yin form of Tai Chi, the Merkaba for about 14 years, Shamavi Mahamudra, Kundalini Yoga, or I should say Kriya Yoga sequences, and then merging them together, adding theta healing, and basically, synthesizing them into one practice. No?
Why not? There are things that you can replace it with that are not those forms.
Such as?
Dancing.
Right. That I have done. It's been naturally coming out. That's
music.
Yeah. Singing. I'll sing. I get that.
Singing.
When I'm singing, it really comes out.
Musical instruments.
Yeah, not so much, but maybe.
Fishing.
Long walks in nature. I've been doing that, a little bit, almost every day.
Well, I'm saying fishing because it triggers the DNA memories.
Okay, so
You ever flown a private airplane by yourself, with anyone in a small airplane?
No.
I know it's COVID, but I would highly recommend you go out and rent a pilot, and they're not that expensive, and have them fly you around for an hour and put the stick under your hand.
Huh. I'd never considered it. All right.
Okay. You ever gone parachuting?
Nope.
Why? I'm sure it's been around many times. People have done it, or
yeah, I had a friend who was really into it, and I had a client that was really into it, and it seemed intriguing, but I don't know, maybe something about the air quality up there doesn't seem to be that appealing.
It's more fresh up there than it is down here.
Not where I'm at.
Well, these are some things that you can begin to say, hey, this is not yoga, this is not this is not that, but it can give me one hell of a spiritual high.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You ever car race?
No.
Okay. What kind of car do you have?
I don't have a car. I've been living in Manhattan for a lot of years, and I just came out here a couple of years ago. Haven't got one yet.
If you were to get a car, what would you get?
Maybe a sort of a classic, old, cool, something with, some style and, mana to it. Maybe an old Porsche convertible or something.
Oh, come on.
Or something that's a stick. I mean, like I'd get a Mini with a stick just to get around and move around fast, something really small and light. I mean, who knows?
Have you ever heard of an Acura Integra GSR?
Not particularly that one, but I know of Acuras and Integras.
Okay, so an Integra GSR is a 180 mile an hour 4-cylinder that you could probably pick up for dirt cheap right now, and it could still be a regular everyday drive car. But it's also a 180 mile an hour car with less than $1,000 in bolt-ons. It can be a 200 mile an hour car.
Okay.
Okay, that you could take to a local track once a month and feel 160 miles an hour under your feet.
That could be fun.
And then take that back to your spiritual practice.
You
can get any car, honestly, but you got to have some nuts in it.
Right.
Okay. Cat likes the idea.
Yeah.
These are all things that you can do that at the nuance level will change the nature of the experience you've been plotting and planning for decades. Getting speed under your belt will change how you can function spiritually.
All right.
You ever felt 150 miles an hour in a car by yourself?
No, but I mean, while I lived in Manhattan, I would get around either, rollerblades or on a bike, like a bike messenger, but not. Sort of like psychotic bike ninja, speed demon. So, I mean, that was always fun.
This is different. You've got 4 wheels, 150 plus miles an hour on a track.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. These things aren't part of you're not a muscle car guy, are you? Never were, huh?
No.
That's okay. Don't see yourself as a muscle car guy. See your guy as who's got a spiritual journey and needs to know the experience of high speed so I can translate it to my next level spiritual journey.
All right, that's actually a really fun idea.
So while you're on your off time from practicing the yoga and the other stuff, go out and learn some other stuff. So when you're ready to come back to the practice, you have all these other things that are going to modify your experience.
Okay. That sounds good.
All right. Thanks for calling in, being the first roastee.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it. Thanks again.
All right, Robert, put up some roasting pictures and see who's next on the Wheel of Roasters.
Okay. Thank you, Christopher. Tara, you are next.
Tara, are you there?
I am.
Hi, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ontario.
Ontario. Welcome to the roasting hour.
Wow, I'm so surprised. Thank you.
What are you surprised about? You got through?
Yeah, I'm surprised I got through. Yeah,
Well, you made it.
I
What
did.
do you want to be roasted about?
I don't know how much of a roasting I'm in for, but so I actually want to talk about Jamaica.
Okay.
My experience with Jamaica. I'm West Indian, but I grew up in Canada,
Mhm.
and I married a Jamaican a year ago. And just before that, I was at a shamanic retreat in Jamaica. And I'm sorry, I'm shaking.
So stop shaking. Relax.
Yeah.
Feel the warmth of the campfire warming you up.
Right. Thank you. So yeah, I've done lots of shamanic stuff throughout my life, and my experience of Jamaica, and this is my personal experience, has been such that it's been a very difficult place to feel connected to that higher spiritual vibration, because I don't see it reflected in the people that I'm experiencing. And so I remember one time listening to you, and you'd said something about the West Indies was one of the most cursed places on this earth.
Yes, actually, Haiti and Dominican Republic, to be exact.
Okay.
Jamaica, Cuba, close second and third.
Okay, and I'm from Trinidad. That's where I was born.
Which is fourth.
Right. And I have a very difficult time going back there because of this whole, because I feel it so strongly. And so Jamaica
it's because you were born into the wrong soul family, and they are the low frequency pretenders to be high frequency soul families. They're like a family that pretends to be rich but very poor.
Yeah.
In spirit. And they create a lot of posers and pretenders who gain fake energy and fake recognition in the spiritual world, but in fact have no practice that really means anything to the evolution of their greater soul.
Right.
The hollow practicers.
Right. Yeah.
And you've met a lot of them.
Met a lot of them. Absolutely.
So your journey is to get rid of that soul family and find people and soul family members who are not hollow practicers.
Okay.
That's a karmic soul family repetition.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. You have no accent. So how did you get rid of your accent?
I've never had one. I was born in Trinidad, and we left when I was 10 months old.
Okay.
To move to Canada.
And what part? You don't even have a Canadian accent. That's why.
I know. Yeah, that's interesting too. Ontario. So
you don't even have an Ontario accent.
I know. Yeah. So I don't even know what accent I do have. Interesting.
You're like a Midwest American accent, which is almost accentless.
Oh, okay.
Do you know how you acquired no accent?
No. I have no idea.
What do you do for a job?
I'm a doctor of Chinese medicine, and I mostly do energy work.
How do I put this? this isn't roasting, this is just in general. A lot of people who discover traditional Chinese medicine, they lose their accent once they become indoctrinated into the practice traditions and learning, so that their accent doesn't scare away potential karmic clients who are there to end their old karmas or have cleared lots of their karmas and are there to create dharmas through the process of healing.
Mm.
Okay? So
Mhm.
you're not only meant to do that as a job and as a frequency, but meant to go very far in it as a teacher.
Okay. So when I was in Jamaica in this retreat last February, I went to visit this sacred place just by happenstance. I didn't know it existed until the day before I went there. So 2 days before the retreat, me and my future husband went there. It's called Rushing River, and it's a cave with all kinds of images that have been created by the stone in there, and all of the stalactites and stalagmites. And then 2 days later, I went with the shamanic group. There was 9 of us, and we did a deeper ceremony there.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple days after I got married, a month later, I went there with 9 women. One of them was my mother. And I just want to know why that place, and why Jamaica, and why after that shamanic retreat where I felt the most expanded that I've ever felt, on the night of the ceremony that we did, which was a 24-hour ceremony, and it was a full moon, my brand new car got broken into in Toronto at the airport. And when I got back to the airport to pick up my car, I fell and broke my wrist. And then after that, I was sick for several months. Like, I didn't know what the hell was going on with me. And then I discovered that I have diabetes. And I think that was going on a lot longer than before. But every time I seem to do something shamanic and become more expanded, something like that happens.
That's called
Something.
negative ancestral karmas.
Okay.
So as soon as you made the statement, you had the highest, most expanded, and then you said something negative happened, that's ancestral karma. That's
Okay.
negative entities from ancestors of the past who, in some way, shape, or form, don't want to ever see the lineage or anyone in the lineage be potent and powerful.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another representation for you that you have finished your journey to Jamaica, Trinidad, and all those countries, and that you should more than likely not ever go back.
Okay, but I married a Jamaican.
Yes, but we're talking ancestral karma here. So what does Chinese medicine tell you about ancestors?
That it's your blood, it's your bones, it's your...
You're here to change your blood and bones.
Yeah.
That's your mission. And part of the Chinese medicine was to help you show that not only can you change your blood and bones, you can help others change their blood and bones.
Okay.
And become the right signature frequency match for the soul that's in the wrong goddamn body.
Okay.
Now, the breaking of your bone, very significant. That's the hand that heals, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The hand that heals. And then you discovered you have a sugar issue, which is diabetes.
Blood, yeah.
Blood.
Yeah.
That's a reinforcement of the karmic limiting curse on the lineage.
Okay.
That it was revealed to you that something is wrong with your blood, which you said you already know was there long before, but it was triggered by the super high frequency, and then entities in your historical past who were shamanic practitioners, who were not good practitioners, who are saying, I'm the owner of this lineage, and no one will ever be a higher frequency than me. You will kowtow and bow to me, and I will put things in the lineage's blood to limit your ass. And this is when you now say, I am exiting this family lineage, so that when I become pregnant or choose to become pregnant, or next time I give birth, they are no longer in that soul family.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how spiritual is your husband or your
Not
future?
much. Not much.
What's he do for a job?
He's a bartender.
Okay. So how does a bartender and a super spiritual person get along?
Because he's West Indian, because I went to Jamaica on a fluke the first time I went.
Karma brought
Yeah,
you there.
absolutely. I started to bleed 2 weeks after my period, already having my
More
period,
blood
more
and cursing.
Yep, and I knew that it was curses that was coming out.
Mm-hmm. That's the
But
Trinidad. That's the Trinidad versus that whole West Indian area.
Yeah, totally. But he touched my hand. Like, you're not supposed to have relationships with bartenders when you go to these resorts. I didn't know that. But we held hands, and there is the feeling of, I recognize you, I know you, I feel safe with you, I feel comfortable with you. And even though he does not understand what I do, and he kind of is scared of it, he still holds space, and he doesn't, well, he holds space for it as much as he doesn't understand it.
I'm going to ask you a tough question. This is slightly roasting. Is there any part of you that's propping him up for the spiritual side and making some statements for him that aren't exactly true?
Yes.
What are those sides?
That I prop him up in.
Mm-hmm.
I talk about his culture,
Mm-hmm.
and
which he doesn't really identify with.
Which he doesn't identify with. It's true.
So
it's true, because I say that he's not like any other Jamaican.
But he's on the same journey of getting out of the wrong damn soul family.
Yeah.
That's why you met him.
That's why
it's ancestral karma. Not all karmas are bad, but at some point in your relationship, he does have to recognize he's got to follow even the most micro part of a spiritual path, or you two will end up in karmic opposition.
Right.
Have you heard any of the numerous callers that call in, and one is super spiritual and the other one has zero in it 40 years later?
Not that I can recall, but I know what you're talking about.
It happens a lot.
Okay.
It's an inevitability if he doesn't put his own effort to it without you forcing him and saying ultimatums to him.
Right.
Okay? You can't remain opposite, because it's karma that brought you together.
Right.
And it'll be karma that's continued to exchanged. You're on track to be a dharmic teacher.
Okay.
What do those words mean to you, a dharmic teacher?
It means that it's dharmic teacher. It is about holding the space of right living, so that other people can choose to vibrate there if they want to.
And being an educator of the illuminated teachings, showing the courage that is needed to face your own misconceptions and perceptions, admitting you're wrong, knowing when you're right, and following the path of healing, nurturing, and showing other people through actions of the self how to heal and nurture.
Mm-hmm.
And then creating conversations, speeches, and topics that others can take and spread virally.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. He is also meant to be a dharmic teacher. Okay. Do you know about his traumas as a younger kid that stopped him from being spiritual?
Yeah, I know some of them. Yeah, his mother got pregnant with him, and she didn't want him.
Mm-hmm.
That's the beginning.
And there are others.
And there are lots
But-
of others. Yeah.
I get it. And we don't need to bring them up. But at some point in your evolving relationship, if he chooses to actively not work on them, you're going to have a karmic entanglement issue where you're actively working on dharma and he's actively working on karma. What happens when those mix?
We have to separate.
Or you end up lowering each other's frequency.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So my first set of advice is pay attention how you prop him up in conversations and try to stop doing it.
Okay.
Like the other car, we reinforce ourselves when we prop people up. It's subconscious reinforcement of subject matters. And when you are operating at high frequency, you have to be aware of your subconscious reinforcement. It is how we get caught into enlightenment traps. Have you ever done a medicine journey?
Explain what that is really.
Ayahuasca, DMT, mushrooms in a ceremonial out setting?
No.
Would he ever do something like that?
Would he?
Yeah.
He might if he did it with me.
Okay. It's COVID now, and I wouldn't recommend you guys do it until quite some time because you have both plenty of stuff to work on between now and it reaches that point. But you can make that a backstop message if, a few years from now, you see that you're both going in opposite karma to dharma directions, you could bring it up then.
Yeah, I've asked him about it actually. I wanted to do what's that, ecstasy?
Actually, ecstasy would be horrible for you.
Okay, well,
horrible. You're going to do anything, do mushrooms or ayahuasca.
Okay, and I have done mushrooms once.
Yeah. And that's something you can do together as a semi-spiritual recreational process.
Okay.
Okay. Listen to some music and dance. And it's a very powerful connection thing you can do, and then have some really incredible sex.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. And speaking of this COVID thing, is it like I want to see him and I want to go to Jamaica to see him. Is that
Wrong.
safe or
No,
not?
no, I told you should never go back.
That's, I know, but he can't come to Canada yet.
Why?
Because of immigration.
This is karma. You're on
Okay.
a dharmic path and he's on a karmic path. That's why this shit's coming up right away.
Okay.
Car got broken into, broke your hand.
Okay.
Does this mean you shouldn't be in the relationship with him? Not necessarily, but there's a lot of hints that the universe is showing you
Okay.
that it's not going to be an easy one. He's the only one that's going to be able to overcome immigration.
Right. Okay.
What are you going to do? Sit there and worry about it the next 5 years? And not be in a relationship and not being able to go visit him?
No, is that how long this is going to be?
It could be with COVID and immigration is going on.
Okay.
How long have you known him for?
4 years.
Okay. And when did you guys decide to get married?
About 2 years ago.
Okay. So you've been engaged for 2 years.
No, we've been married for a year and engaged for a year-ish.
Okay. You've been married for a year and he's been there the whole time.
Yeah.
And he can't even get a 2-week visit?
No, we tried twice.
Why? Why can't he get a 2-week visit?
The government denies people regularly, and they told him the first time it was because I forget why the first time. The second time was because they said he didn't have enough money in his bank account.
Okay, that's common. That's
Yeah.
very common. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So put money in his bank account or go meet somewhere else. Just not the Dominican Republic, Trinidad, or Haiti.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay, so we can meet somewhere else, but not in Jamaica.
Correct.
All right, that's great.
Yes. And I'm going to reiterate, Jamaica is done for you.
Okay.
It is done. If you go back, you will experience higher and higher density of negative ancestral karmas dumping shit all over your frequency.
Okay.
Are you prepared to deal and battle with that?
No. Well, I'm done. I've done so much work on this very thing that you've said. I knew from a little kid that I came in here to be done with that shit.
Okay. And then you've got to begin to reiterate it to you moving forward so that you can now subconsciously implant I'm done in every dimension, time stream, galaxy, and universe with those negative poser soul families.
Okay.
And one more thing, what happens if the person that you love can't break out? There's plenty of star-crossed lover stories throughout history that are just like that. You can't let it destroy you.
Okay.
Cannot let it destroy you, or you will have lowered your frequency and not been a dharmic teacher.
Okay.
So it's not stopping loving him, it's learning how to go on even if he can't make it in such a way that you don't screw up your karmas for the next several lifetimes.
Okay.
It took you dozens of lifetimes to clear it out to be able to be born and do this.
Mm-hmm.
As the thunder comes in.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
I would also recommend that you expand your healing classes. Have you ever done cranial sacral therapy or myofascial release?
No.
I would highly recommend that you go and have somebody do it to you so you know what it is and go educate yourself in it. You can take weekend classes.
Okay.
Also hypnosis.
Okay.
Have you ever done bio-neural feedback?
No, I do something called body talk, which is
Similar.
yeah.
But the bio-neural feedback uses the machines as part of a information thing. I would highly recommend that you have somebody do bio-neural feedback for you so you understand the mechanics of it, and then consider going and doing it as part of your continuing education as a master healer.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long did you study for Chinese medicine?
4 years.
Okay. Do they offer any continuing education classes where you graduated from?
Well, the school is closed down, actually. It was in Nelson, British Columbia that I went to school.
Okay.
But I'm constantly learning stuff.
I realize that. These are really specific types of techniques that will make you extremely capable when dealing with, let's say, if you get high-level sports personalities or car injuries or people that are going through severe emotional traumas.
Mm-hmm.
Combined with what you know from Chinese medicine, acupuncture, so on and so forth, you can help put Humpty Dumpty back together again with all those skill sets. You can find somebody who's broken and put them back together piece by piece by piece.
Okay.
Okay. Combined with it's combining everything into great knowledge and wisdom, which is going to help you have some super potent, powerful spiritual connections to psychic surgeons.
Okay.
People who will be next to you with your fingers and hands and helping you do literally psychic surgery repair on torn souls.
Okay.
All right, darling, I got to let you go and move on to my next caller. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, Robert, let's put up our roasting pictures and take my video off and focus on roasting for a little bit. Roasting bananas, Nick. All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel and colors and see who's next.
Nelly, you're unmuted with Andrew.
Nelly, are you there?
Hello there.
Hi, where are you calling from?
I'm from Australia.
From Australia. Welcome to the show. Are you ready to get
thank
roasted?
you so much.
You ready to get roasted?
Yes, I am actually ready. But actually, I wanted to ask a question, if that's
Sure.
okay.
Go ahead.
I'm quite confused from all this virus thing that's going on at the moment.
Okay.
And I wanted to know why the virus has been released in this time and what is the connection to the Great Awakening.
The virus is here to follow lines of karmic vehicles of debt anything from racism to caste systems, money, improper organizations, military, anything that is a negative karmic vehicle that makes it impossible for humans to break out of. It's there to clear out the negative karmas that cannot be healed, as well as put people on a path of getting out of work, disconnecting from the nature of the jobs and the money frequencies that they have, so that they can actually have time home alone for a specific.
No, I don't hear him.
I'm here. Sorry about that. My internet was just acting funky there for a second. So this virus is here to give people a moment of pause, to understand who they are, what they are, and what they have to get through so that the Great Awakening can mean something to them. The Great Awakening is an individual awakening. The biggest lie the lightworker community has right now, that it's a collective awakening. It was never, ever, ever meant to be a collective awakening. It is an individual awakening that will go on for a very long time, in which we will awaken to the potential of what the dreaming world is, something that's just as real as the waking world.
Yeah. Okay. I've heard you say to another lady that when the Great Awakening will come, people will run all over the street and like will be afraid. And I wanted to ask you why they will be like in a panic.
I never
why
said
they will be
that. I never
afraid?
said people would be afraid. They would be confused.
I'm confused. So maybe no, you're right. That's my interpretation. They will be very confused. But it's something gradually, or something big will happen.
Nothing that no one individual things will happen. A bunch of little things will add up into a big aha.
Okay.
And it'll be subtle. So subtle that people will have to make a choice what to believe in.
Okay. I feel it's already happened now. People really trying to understand. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we can make all sorts of assumptions, but in all reality, nothing has changed other than people are at home now.
Okay.
And they're not at work. So my statement, nothing's going to happen until we make it happen, which I've been saying since 2012, still applies. Nothing is really happening still, even with COVID. Anything changed in our world? Have the aliens come down and talk to us? Has they've given a debt jubilee? Are the right people in office? Are the criminals going to jail? No. Have the dark ritual stopped? No.
Yeah.
Has the awakening occurred and everybody suddenly realizes we're infinite beings? No.
Yeah.
Sleeper's gonna sleep. That's right, Danny. Sleeper's gonna sleep. Yeah. Okay. So to be an awakened being means to know that you have to be vigilant on the journey of nothing's happening. Vigilant about your own self and disconnecting from the need to make it a collective awakening.
Okay, and then I heard lots of people say like that I hear that they stop everything, to implement 5G or to implement, that they will do more surveillance on us and to take all the cash from the society and really to trap us more. Is that true? Why the virus is part of being here now, to implement more surveillance on humanity and, really take more control over us?
Is humanity going to let that happen?
Really hope not. I'm not, but lots of other people, I'm not sure they really care about it. People around, they are not so awake for it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there are a lot of people that find out about 5G and immediately go into fear.
Yeah.
Okay, and when fear is running them, they don't make clear choices of conscience. They're reactionary. And as long as you are in a reactionary state of adrenaline, fight, flight, freeze, you're not in the infinite state of awareness, and you're not connected to nature of all that is, was, and ever will be as your birthright and legacy.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Can I ask you another question? Yeah,
sure.
Nothing to do yet. It's regarding my daughter. I have a 8-year-old daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And when she was born, she had a small dot on her left cheek. in the face.
Yeah.
So when she was few months old, it started to grow, and now it's like become like a quite big lump on her left cheek, like very swollen.
Mhm.
And I just wonder why she created this thing on her left cheek.
If the doctors looked at it and said what it is.
No, in the beginning they said it will disappear by the age of 5. It's a blood vessel tumor, but it's only cosmetic. So they said it will disappear by age 5, but it didn't. And they thinking maybe to do laser in a year or 2, but I wasn't sure if I'm so comfortable with it because they need to put her to sleep and all of that.
You want to have that
So
done. You want to have that
I
surgery
do.
done. Yes. So a lot of facial marks are past life karmas cutting through, cuts, humiliations, things that were done in the past and have manifested on the face in the future being.
Okay, so it's safe. I wasn't sure if it's the right thing to do. Maybe she need to stay
Yes,
with
it is.
it.
No.
Oh,
Would you want to grow up with that mark on your face your whole life
no, not at
Well,
all,
then-
not at all. But I
and have it
need
done?
to know that. Yes, I see. Okay, that's really good. And I don't know what can I more ask. What can I more? Do you want maybe to ask me a question, a little bit about roasting, or I don't know? And
What do you do for a job?
at the moment, I'm working part-time as a cleaner. I'm cleaning houses of people.
You ever had any other types of bigger jobs in house cleaning?
Yeah, because I'm a mom, it's very convenient to me at the moment. But before, I I used to do accounts for quite a few years. I used to work as accountant officer, and after that, I had a company of renovating houses, and I done quite well. But that's when I was living in different country, and when I moved to Australia, I couldn't build all this business again. So now I'm just low key doing just job to live at the moment.
Because it's easy,
Yeah, it's easy and very comfortable with the hours at the moment.
but it
for me.
doesn't pay. It doesn't pay the same, does it?
No, it doesn't. No.
So why are you operating low frequency, low pay?
Just I thought when I have another kid, he just turned 2. So I said when he will be a bit bigger and I will send him to a daycare and stuff, I will look for some better job.
You have a husband?
Yes, I do have a partner.
What's he do for a job?
He's a chef.
How's the COVID-19 affecting him?
So he didn't have a job, but from this weekend, he's going back for part-time, 2 days a week, and from 3 weeks, probably for a full-time. Yeah.
Okay.
So 6 weeks at home, so not so bad. It was only 6 weeks roundabout. So yeah.
Well, be glad it was just 6 weeks and not like some people out here. It's going to be months before they can go back.
Yeah, we thought it would be much longer. So we are quite lucky at the moment. Yeah.
So my first thing for you is, I know it's convenient and you have a 2-year-old and another child, but when one goes to more trivial cleaning jobs, it's a lowering of your spiritual frequency. Not always. I think in your situation, you just need to reevaluate the work you do and the value you get out of the work. And look for some other job that still has the hours that are flexible. There are plenty of flexible office hour jobs where people that need somebody that can do books from home. Plenty.
Okay.
With all the online accounting programs there are right now, you should be able to find something that is more to your skill level and will keep your adult brain in adult land, so that when you are ready to have a career or go back or choose to be a mom full time, that more of your adult brain's engaged in something that is fulfilling for that other side of you.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I will look at it.
Okay. What does your spiritual life mean to you?
What is my spiritual life is what?
What does it mean to you?
What is mean to me? Everything. I'm really interested in spirituality. I like born awake. I knew like that it's there is much more than they tell us. So I'm all the time seeking and learning new information regarding spirituality. I'm really into it. I live in it, breathe it. I really like it.
Do you want to actually do something? You want to do something with it as a career?
Yeah, I was thinking about it for many years, but I don't have a clue what. That's the thing. I never had a clue what to do in regards to that.
But there are so many choices you could just follow through on.
Yeah, right. I could just take a course or something, but I never like found something that really attracts me, like to heal people or something. I'm really interested in it, but not like I never found something that I really passionate, like to go and learn. And yeah,
Mhm.
I have to admit.
Because there's a part of you who easily conforms.
Okay.
Okay. And you have to recognize there's a part of you who takes the easy road a lot,
Mm,
uses
okay.
the easy button a lot.
Okay.
Do you get what I'm the gist of what I'm saying here?
Yeah, maybe I did, but I somehow it's work okay for me. So
Because you've been
and
following the easy road for so long. Every time you're faced with the hard road, you choose the easy road. And spirituality isn't the easy road.
mm,
It requires a lot
okay.
of hard work in it, a lot of investment. Everyone in the chat room, if you think spirituality is easy, tell me yes or no in the chat room. No's, it's not easy. Okay? So you're going to have to start challenging yourself with the hard way and stop conforming to the easy way.
Okay.
Invest. Stop doubting yourself. There's an infinite amount of classes you can go and take. Just go do it.
Okay.
There are
So yeah,
plenty of
okay.
there are plenty of moms that have called into this show with 4 kids, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4, who have still figured out how to do it with no partner.
Mm,
You can too.
yes, okay. Yeah.
Okay? Challenge yourself. Truly challenge yourself.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, we look into maybe a course or what I can do.
Right. Anything.
Maybe.
Reiki,
Yeah.
cranial sacral therapy, myofascial relief, a massage school. Okay? Just go
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
Start getting experience and tend that passion like a farm of the many things you can do. Start planting seeds of inspiration.
Okay.
All right, darling. Thanks a lot for
Okay.
calling in. I'm going to move on to the
Okay. Thank
next
you.
one.
Sure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of roasted callers who don't want to get necessarily roasted and see who's next that may want to volunteer to come close to the fire.
All right. Since they were early, Rohan, you are unmuted with Andrew.
But Rohan, are you there?
How you going?
Great. Where are you calling from today?
Australia,
What part of Australia?
Sydney, Australia.
Welcome to the show. What do you want to talk about today? You up to getting roasted?
Well, yes. Well, I don't mind to be roasted.
Okay. So what do you want to talk about?
So Andrew, I just want you to please scan me
For what?
for my energy
Why do you want that to be done as your first question?
because I am going through a lot, and I don't speak much, but this is basically my first contact with anybody, really, and I choose you to be that person.
So
And
tell me what's going on with you. Being able to voice it makes it a lot easier for me to understand it.
there's a lot. There's a lot. I just keep within me. I see what is happening to the world and everybody in
Mhm.
it, and it just destroys me, destroys parts of me, and
Mhm.
it just creates more strength in me day by day.
Mhm. So that means you need to disconnect from everything that's going on in the world.
Yes, but it's hard. It's hard to do that when you see people in front of you.
Mhm.
suffering.
I see people suffering all the time, but I found that patience allows that suffering to not transmute into myself. Right now, you're a high psychic being who's unable to control your skill and getting overwhelmed by the emotions, thoughts, feelings, and experiences of others.
Exactly.
It's absolutely not necessary for you to do that, and that's being a martyr who's unwilling to face yourself and take control of your life.
I've always been a martyr.
Mm-hmm. Have you done any of the contract revocations that I have?
Yes, I have,
How have they helped you?
immensely.
Immensely, huh? Have
Yes.
you ever tried writing any of your own?
Yes, I'm coming into terms with that also, Andrew, that I can write my own. Because before I thought I forgot. I forgot that I could do that.
Mm-hmm.
And when I figured it out after listening to your YouTube shows, it just helped me. But like I had to, this was like a dream for me right now to just talk with you, you know.
Well,
And
here you are.
yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much for just
Mhm.
giving me this honor to speak with you because you're such a great, 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 great being.
Thank
And
you.
I look up to you a lot, Andrew. In these days, to be honest, it's very hard to stay sometime. You know, with if you are in it, if you are, because I live in Sydney urban area, and it's hard not to avoid what's going on at the moment to the society.
But you
So
can, but you easily can. Right now, everything is very high volume, and you don't know where the volume control buttons are anymore. Have you heard me do the repeat after me processes?
yes, I
All right, so
have.
I want you to just repeat after me. I, in this ever present moment of now,
I say again, sorry.
I, in this ever present moment of now,
I in this present moment of now
choose to engage my hindsight and foresight.
choose to sorry, Andrew, I couldn't get
Engage,
that
engage my hindsight and foresight
to engage my high side and foresight
to understand why I am overwhelmed.
to understand why I'm overwhelmed.
I now make a choice
I now make a choice
to lower the volume
to lower the volume
on all the input energies
on the input energies
that are affecting me now.
that are affecting me now.
I turn off all the channels and subchannels
I turn off all the channels and sub channels
that create fear and paranoia.
that create fear and paranoia,
Hesitation and doubt.
hesitation and doubt.
I bring forth my great spirit
I bring forth, oh Andrew,
mhm,
my spirit
into my heart.
into my heart.
I turn up the volume on my heart speaker.
I turn up the volume on my heart speaker
I let my brain go into my heart.
and let my brain to go in my heart
So I may hear my words.
so I may hear my words.
I am a peacekeeper and peacemaker.
I am a peacekeeper and peacemaker
Manifested in this body
manifested in this body
with these great skills that I have.
with these great skills that I have
So I may create and co-create peace.
so I may create and co-create in peace.
I am a being of love.
I'm a being of love.
I came from love.
I came from love.
I am love.
I love.
I am never not a part.
Yeah,
I am never not a part of love.
I am never ever part of love.
I am love.
I am I am love.
I now love myself with such strength and force.
Sorry,
I love
sorry.
myself with now strength and force.
I love myself.
To burn away these emotions.
To burn away these emotions.
So I may discover what is just mine
So I may discover what is just mine
and what is the energy of others.
and what is the energy of others.
I remove the energy that is not mine
I remove the energy that is not mine
and replace it with the universal spirit of love.
and replace it. Yeah,
It is my will to love myself.
it is my will to love myself.
So I may end the old
So I may end the old
and begin anew.
and begin new.
Every tear that I have shed
Every tear that I have shed
is in recognition of the pain that I am in.
is in the recognition of a pain that I'm in.
I now choose to end that pain.
And I choose to end this pain
With the love of myself and Great Spirit.
with the love of myself and the Great Spirit
That flows through me now.
flows through me.
Let the tears out. Don't hold them back. Let them out.
And
All right, brother, let them out. Let them out. This is the letting go of the pain you've been through for so long.
oh, Andrew, you're incredible.
So are you.
So incredible.
Now keep repeating after me. I accept myself in total.
I accept myself in total.
There is there's nothing a part of me that is brought bad or wrong.
There's nothing wrong with
I
There's
forgive
nothing
myself.
wrong with me.
I forgive myself.
I forgive myself
Of my hesitation and doubt in spirit.
of hesitation and doubt.
I bring in the divine spirit of love into my heart.
I bring divine spirit of love into my heart.
I accept it as part of me
I accept it as part of me
to help me go through this change,
to help me go through this change,
to accept who I am in the fullest,
to accept who I am as the fullest,
a being of love,
a being of love,
manifested in these two legs,
manifested in these two lights,
to learn the lessons of love,
to learn the lessons of love.
so I may find another to love.
Oh, Andrew. Oh, Andrew, my heart is
Yes.
just like on fire.
Yes.
My heart is on fire, Andrew.
Yes.
Oh, Andrew.
It's been a long time since you felt this.
Oh,
Keep
Andrew.
repeating
You're
after
amazing.
me. The healer's tools have been laid out.
The healer's tools have been made out
In ceremonial fashion.
in ceremonial fashion.
The grouse feather to the east.
The grouse feathers to the east,
Revealing the dawn of a new age of man. Revealing the dawn of a new age of man.
revealing the dawn of a new age of man.
To the north, the bear claw necklace.
To the north, the bear claw necklace
Honors the dreams of ancestors red and blue.
honors the dream of ancestors, red and blue.
To the south direction holds the cocoon of friend butterfly.
To the south. How do you know that?
That's what I do, brother.
Oh my God. And
The south holds the cocoon of friend butterfly.
the south holds the cocoon of butterfly,
Waiting for us to become innocent with joy once more.
waiting for us to become joyous once again.
Transforming our state of life
Transforming the state of life
into the next layer of dream weave.
into the next level of dreamly.
To the west, the black doorway remains clear.
To the west,
The black stone doorway remains clear.
black stone doorway remains clear
With intentions past, present, and future.
with intentions of past, present, and future.
The way is clear. The path is not broken.
The way is clear. The path is not broken.
The path has the footsteps of the ancestors.
Get the shoes.
The path has the footsteps of the ancestors.
The path has the footsteps of the ancestors.
Charting a course for all future dreamers.
Charting a course for all future dreamers.
To dream the great dream of peace.
To dream the peace.
The great dream of peace.
The great dream of peace.
It is why I was born.
Whoa. This is why I was born. Wow. I
To share.
remember.
Yes, do you
I
remember?
remember.
To
I remember.
Yes, you do. Embrace that memory. Embrace that memory.
Such an ancient memory, this memory. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, now I'm like cold and I'm getting the shivers.
Yes. That's the negative energy coming out of you now.
Oh,
Okay.
you're right.
Now keep repeating after me. I
Yes.
call to the medicine of the dreamers of the southern skies.
Call on the medicine
Of the dreamers of the southern skies.
of the dreamers of the southern sky.
Come co-create a message with me.
Come, co-create a message with me.
The divine dream of peace.
The divine dreams of peace.
The blue road spirits are here with me now.
The blue world spirit are here with me now.
I bring them into my heart.
Oh, oh, oh. Oh my God. Yes. I bring them into my heart.
So we may dream the great dream of peace.
So we may dream the great dream of peace.
How are you feeling?
Oh, wow. I don't know what I'm feeling anymore. After this, I don't know. It's just like this was, I think, eh, I was waiting for this day, actually.
Yeah.
I was waiting for this day to have all this expression come out of me in like within like, I don't know how many minutes we've been talking now, but like all these emotions, all this everything I cannot describe it because it's everywhere. I don't
Yes.
know what's oh
This
my
great
God.
dream of peace. You need to reconnect, unblock some memories from you, and you need to go back and re-experience that dream of peace. It's your birthright and legacy.
Yeah. Yes, Andrew. You're
Okay.
right. Yes, it's my right too.
Okay.
Mhm,
No one can take this birthright from you.
mhm. Yeah, Andrew.
The path is clear. The way is not broken.
Oh,
You got to keep saying that to yourself. The path is clear. The way is not broken. The footsteps of the ancestors will guide me to the divine spirit.
mhm. Yeah.
Find the
Whoa.
courage in yourself.
Mhm.
Life is a blessing right now
Life is a blessing
that
right now
I must accept.
that I must accept.
This blessing will get rid of all of the negative of the world.
This blessing will get rid of all of the negative in the world
that I have let affect me.
that I have let affect me.
This blessing will cleanse my spirit and soul.
This blessing will cleanse my spirit and the soul,
So I may sit before the fires of creation
so I may sit with the fires of creation
and rediscover my legacy and birthright.
and rediscover my legacy and birthright,
To dream the great dream of peace
to dream the great dream of peace
and share it with the all.
and share it with the all with pleasure. Yes, with pleasure. Share it with all. That's why I am here.
Yes.
That's why I have always wanted best of everything for everybody. Doesn't matter what
And
color or
right.
everybody.
Now you must selfishly give to yourself and know that you're not selfishly doing it. You have a healing to go through, and these tears that you have experienced are a reminder of the level of love you got to bring into yourself every day. So that great dream of peace can be expanded to a 1,000,000-page document as a metaphor.
Wow. Yes. You're Yeah.
All right, man, I think you need to take a break and just let yourself be filled with the spirit of love.
I love you, Andrew.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
When you go back and re-listen to the show, I want you to try the repeat after me thing again and again and again and again. Okay?
Definitely, I will do that.
I want you to write your own contract revocations.
Mhm.
And I want you to dream that great dream of peace.
Wow. Yes. Andrew, if I do that, would I be successful in this life?
You will be more than successful.
Wow.
You'll be a manifested dreamer of the great dream of peace.
Whoa. Who am I then?
A dreamer of the great dream of peace.
Yes, Andrew.
All right,
Whoa.
brother. Thank you for calling in. You've helped a lot of people.
Thank you so much, Andrew. I really appreciate your time.
You are the unvanquished great dreamer of peace.
Thank you, Andrew.
Unvanquished. You had a lot of courage today. Proud of you.
Thank you so much. I love you so much.
Love you too, brother. Take it easy.
Thank you. Bye.
Sometimes when I do these healings, it's unique energies. So I'd like people in the chat room to go and type what you felt from this. If you're listening on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Periscope, or listening later, go on to the comment section. Tell me what you thought of that healing. Tell me what you thought of the energies and what you felt as you were going through it. Yes, people release healing relating to it. Okay. All right, Robert, let's bring on the next caller.
Okie doke. Next caller will be, let's see, Emilio. You're unmuted with Andrew.
Emilio, are you there?
Yeah, how are you, Andrew?
Great. Where are you calling from today?
Mexico.
Mexico. What did you think of that last caller?
I don't know. I'm still crying. Sorry about that.
Still crying. It's okay. What's creating? Robert, can you mute? What's making you cry?
Well, a lot of things. It's very interesting because at the beginning, when I was realizing that, for example, I'm just gonna shift back to my previous state. For me, this COVID thing it hasn't been a lot of changes, but mainly I don't feel like I was listening at the beginning. I'm very sensitive and all that, but I'm treating myself like nothing's happening. I'm going out. I'm trying not to be quarantined. I haven't used a face mask or anything, and I'm trying to actually go through this process very friendly. I have met people and just make them smile, and people think I have a really nice energy and everything. And then as you go through the process, I just started crying and realizing a lot of things and maybe a little selfish about it. And I want to thank our friend from Australia. It's really nice. And I hope you feel better too. And for me,
You're feeling really a lot of emotions right now, aren't you?
well, it's kind of normal. It's very easy for me to feel emotions. Very easy. I was kind of blocking them at the beginning because I wasn't resonating. I was resonating a lot with the first two persons I got, or at least I resonate with everyone you have speak to. This is the second time I log into your conversations. I've never heard of you before. Just a friend I met from South Africa.
Mhm.
She recommended me, and she's been really helpful in this process. And I don't know why I just keep crying after I log into your conversations. It's really amazing.
It's because you're feeling a frequency of
Yeah,
peace that you haven't known for a long time.
but I feel it all the time. Maybe I just fake it or something, but every time I go out,
Because
for me, the world is really nice.
you're feeling the subtle changes that people are going through in their dream world.
Well, yes, you're right.
Okay. It's not about the physical
I,
world. Your experience isn't really about the physical world. It's about how the dreaming world is affecting everyone else.
oh, great. Well, okay, I'm gonna put my shit together. Right, I'm
Okay.
back.
Okay.
Okay, so at the beginning, let's see. This, I wanted, I didn't want to ask you anything at the beginning. I wasn't even afraid to go in live, but thank you. First of all, I've been trying to heal myself from some pain chest that I've been having for a couple of years, and it's
Mhm.
coming back and forward sometimes. And it went away with my last relationship. I just broke up after the COVID. It was
Mhm.
pretty strong. I think we couldn't handle it, and I kind of miss a lot of the things. I really really fall for her. We were doing really good, and then I came back to work a lot. So I've been working a lot on the economical or financial aspect of the life, so I can break free from many things. And I've been dreaming a lot. Yesterday I had a lot of dreams and a lot of confusions. First of all, I want to heal myself, all the things that are being manifesting from, I don't know. I also want to ask you, there's a lot of things, maybe patterns of my past with my ancestors. And I don't know if I have to break loose of that very heavy burden with my dad lineage and my mom lineage. I'm not sure how to ask about that, but it would be nice if you can give me a little guide on it. And also to break loose of my last relationship so I can continue and I can manifest a lot of the things that I've been putting a lot of effort into on helping other people.
What do you do as a job?
And uh, I was very privileged. I think I was born in a family where a lot of things were given to me. When I was little, I started to help my family and try to invest in my family businesses. And then I bought some shares and I tried to get my uh, normal income, or at least the necessities that I have taken care. And then I start just traveling and adventuring myself to a lot of things where I can see how can I help and connect the dots with other people. But right now I do a lot of real estate with a partnership that I did in San Francisco. And they have a tech company. They're very successful and I brought it into the country and we can do links and get connected. I'm doing a water project on helping other people in my country. Water is a little more expensive than it needs to be, and I didn't like that idea. And I got into the crypto environment on my own and trying to modulate into web applications, cryptos. And I paint. I'm an artist. I paint for fun. I have a big collection. I have exhibitions in different museums, and I hope someday I can just continue the art world and live out of that. But it's not very profitable, so I just keep it on the side. So I get myself really busy. I give a lot of web pages for free. I help a lot of people that I see. I make alliances with different scenarios. And I can do that because I learned to live on very few. And of course, my family provides, if I have any luxury that I need, it's right there for me.
So what does
That
spirituality mean to you?
the spiritual quest has been quite long for me. Well, I don't know. It started when I was around 18 or 20. A bunch of my friends in the spiritual thought it was just, well, I don't know, but let's see what spirituality means for me. I have been into the breatharian path. I did a couple of days without food or water. I have a lot of friends that taught me that. And then I practice a lot of qigong and the water path and fire path in different areas so I can connect with my physical, my emotional, my thinking and the spiritual awareness of how can I interact with other people and disconnect with this reality that is imposed on us. I'm not really sure how to answer the question you're asking me, what is the spirituality means to me, but I hope I can at some point just enlighten the soul and disconnect from the pain and just enjoy.
All right, so I'm gonna do something similar to what I did with the next caller. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shine an extremely bright spiritual light, more intense than you've ever felt before.
Sounds
and
nice.
the point of doing it in a repeat after me process is more of your soul has to be in your body for you to produce the light. It's called an emulation journey. Right now, you go between emulation and emanation, copying other people's light versus using your real light. Copy.
Yeah, you're right.
Copy real light. So just repeat after me, and this is going to get very intense. And for anybody else that's experiencing it, all you have to do is understanding the point of this is to produce more light with each words. If at any point you're emotional, tears, just let them go. Let them flow through you. Okay? Don't resist the tears. So just repeat after me. This is the next shaman's death.
This is the next shaman's death.
To live in the generation of the now.
To live in the generation of the now.
One must act in the now.
One must act in the now.
Observe their surroundings, seen and unseen.
Observe their surroundings, seen and unseen.
The shaman's path has many valleys, gorges, and mountains.
The shaman's path have many valleys,
gorges, and mountains.
Gorges, mountains.
They seem impassable.
They seem impassable.
Then we look back with hindsight.
But then we look back with hindsight.
And they were just expressions of the self-defeating programs.
And they were just expression of the self-defeating program.
To not succeed.
To not succeed.
On the path of spirit.
On the path of spirit.
Each person will come to the shaman's path.
Each person will come to the shaman's path.
In a different way.
In a different way.
Each has their own unique blueprint.
Each one has their own unique blueprint.
Well, they will discover balance.
They will discover balance.
On the path to being a champion.
On the path to being a champion.
As an eternal being of light.
As an eternal being of light.
The shaman is willing to look at his families and friends.
The shaman is willing to look at their families and friends.
And chart a course of ancestral resolution.
And what? I'm sorry.
Chart a course of ancestral resolution.
And chart a course of ancestral resolutions.
With those who will not grow.
With those who will not grow.
The shaman's path has many expressions.
The shaman's path has many expressions.
Where former selves hold power.
Where former selves hold power.
Over the you of the now.
Over the you of the now.
It is a shaman's duty to heal thyself.
It is the shaman's duty to heal thyself.
To know the versions of thyself.
To know the versions of thyself.
So you may understand your potentials of the now.
So you may understand the potentials of the now.
Okay. How are you feeling as you're doing this?
I'm feeling really relaxed now. I feel like empowered from the inside. It's really nice.
Okay. I just want you to let that energy soak into you a little bit.
Yes. I feel it over my body now.
Okay. The healer's tools, now repeat after me. The healer's tools have been laid out in ceremonial fashion.
The healer's tools have been set out in a ceremonial fashion.
The eagle feather to the east.
The eagle feather to the east.
Really revealing to me my illumination.
Really revealing to me my illumination.
The thunder beings of the north.
The thunder beings of the north.
revealing the message of the ancestors.
revealing the message of the ancestors.
To the south, the place of friend wolf,
To the south, the place sounded
howling in the distance,
howling in the distance,
transforming my state of mind.
transforming my state of mind.
To the west, the black
the
stone
west.
doorway. The black stone doorway remains clear.
Black stone doorway remains clear
Of the past.
of the past.
I am a being of the present,
I am the being of the present,
unifying all the directions on the medicine wheel.
unifying all the directions of the medicine. Oh, can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
So unifying all the directions of the medicine wheel.
Unifying all the directions of the medicine field.
I now am a celestial medium of peace.
I'm now a celestial medium of peace.
I am the unvanquished great dreamer of peace.
I am the great unquestioned.
Unvanquished great dreamer of peace.
Can you repeat that, please?
Unvanquished great dreamer.
Unvanquished great dreamer of peace.
It is my birthright and legacy.
It is my birthright and legacy.
I call to the dragons of my eternal
I
struggle.
call to the dragons.
I
call
call
to the dragons
to come to this personal moment of evolution.
to come to this personal moment of evolution.
Today I transcend transcendence,
Today I transcend transcendence,
so I may use the universal sacred pipe of peace.
so I may use this universal sacred pipe of peace.
I now transfer the allness of myself
I now transfer the ownership of myself
to be the celestial dragon peacekeeper.
to be the celestial dragon peacekeeper
and peacemaker
and peacemaker
for the expressed purpose of expanding
for the express purpose of expanding
my knowingness of peace.
my understanding of knowing of peace.
I unpack and uncode
I unpack and uncode
the 1 million letters celestial alphabet,
the 1 million letters celestial alphabet,
so I may unchain myself
so I may unchain myself
from the limitations of language,
for the limitations of language,
so I may know the unlimited point of view.
so I may know the unlimited point of view.
From this point forwards and backwards,
From this point forwards and backwards,
throughout all time-space equations,
to bring, can you repeat that please?
throughout all time-space equations,
To all time, place, and equations. To bring,
I summon the will of the warrior
I summon the will of the warrior
to be present in me,
to be present to me,
so I may forge the tools of war
so I may forge the tools of war
into tools of peace.
into tools of peace.
Today is the day I choose my spirit
Today is the day I choose my spirit
and my legacy to my spirit
and the legacy to my spirit
to be a standing DNA nation of one.
to be a standing DNA nation of one.
Okay. What were you feeling
Thank
with that second part?
I felt empowered again and a lot of energy inside.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're a very unique being. And I want to say this to you. You're toiling with business, pretending to be an artist, but you're meant to be a shaman.
I know. Thank you.
Okay? My advice for you is over this next couple of weeks, take a step back from all the business projects. Hire somebody to take over the slack and the work if you've got the money.
I don't have the money right now, but I will find it.
You
I'll
you
find
could
a
just
way.
say, just tell your family I need to take a break. Okay.
Yeah.
And go and listen to some more shows about ceremony and healing. Have you ever
Okay.
heard me talk about fire ceremonies?
No, it's the second time I heard
Okay,
about
so
you.
you're
And
that new. So there's a lot of shows that I talk about where I tell people to get a big outdoor fire going and to tell your story to the fire. Fire was the first shaman. It taught mankind all about the spirit world. And you have a very powerful connection to fire.
yes, I remember first time I did a ceremony,
Okay?
and then that was probably 15 years ago, and I felt the connection. And sometimes it was this time that I couldn't sleep, and I had to fight with the fire. It was
Okay.
very interesting.
And
I didn't sleep until I finished.
so
Uh,
are you able to have a fire where you're at?
yeah, sure.
Oh, great. Get a bunch of wood, get it big, get it hot, and get yourself relaxed next to it and recall your life. Look at the victories you've had, at the defeats you've had. Tell your love of this girl you just broke up with to the fire.
Thank you.
Okay? The more you
Um,
open up to the fire, the more you will be able to let go of some of this heaviness around you.
thank you. I'm practicing right now some water path, and I don't know how to deal with the fire and the water at the same time.
Right now,
um,
you need the fire to burn away
Thank you.
ash, all this excess energy that's in you. And the more time
Okay.
you are honest and pretend that that fire is a friend you've had your whole life, so you could bare your soul to the fire, you will start burning
Yes.
away all this dense energy that's around you. And then you can go do a water ceremony to cleanse yourself of the ash. Okay.
Thank you. May I ask you just one more
Sure.
question?
Sure.
I wanted to have two, but if you have one, that's perfect. There's probably a heavy path in my ancestors. I don't know if I can clean that up as well with the fire. If not, maybe another recommendation would be good. And just to close my ex-girlfriend path, I have to go back and pick up my stuff, all of my stuff. I was listening to the advice you gave to this girl from Jamaica. How can I sense and feel where are those places that I should not go back anymore? And how can I retrieve or get the items that I think are important just to close and move on?
So you're not in you're not in the same situation as you're in similar. You can go back, you just can't live.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Great.
And get everything. Literally get everything. Don't leave
Yeah,
anything. It's not like burn and destroy, but take everything that's not just of meaning, but semi-meaning too. Okay.
thank you. I was hoping for that question, for that answer. Thank you. You just
And
got the right spot there.
you're gonna reclaim parts of yourself. Okay.
Yes.
Now for the breakup of this girl, be glad it's now.
Yes.
Be glad that it's now and not 4 years from now when the love is uncontrollable.
But
Okay?
I truly love her. It was pretty intense.
I know you do, but she does not love you back.
I know. Okay. Let's move on to the.
Do you know that she's not loving you back equally?
Yes, that was the reason.
Okay. Why? Why can't she love you back?
She has very strong issues she has to finish.
Because she can't love herself.
Yes.
Okay. And you're not meant to be a person with a person who can't love themselves. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. About my family, is it important to break some? I never heard. I don't know if I need to cut loose of several ancestors or not. They're really cool ancestors in my backline.
Mm-hmm.
And
the answer is yes. The answer is yes, but you don't need to do it this week or this month.
Okay.
It's going to be an ongoing journey as you learn more about the shamaning and energy path. Okay. There's something called the cutting of the ceremonial cords, and it's something you can do at the ceremonial fire. but work on telling your story to the fire. Work on feeling the element to fire, helping you burn away the dense energy. Then after the dense energy is gone, you're going to have some moments of intense clarity about your life and what you really want to do with it.
Thank you. What you mentioned,
let that clarity really bloom inside you, because it's been a very long time since you've had really clear focus.
Yes.
This girl took away a lot of your focus.
Yes.
You let her.
Yes, of course.
Why?
That's what I thought love was about.
You were blinded with your love. You were blinded with your love. You got to take the blinders off now. Okay?
Yes.
And see with
You
clear
mentioned
eyes. Go ahead.
You mentioned I was a little special or something. What do you mean with that? Can you elaborate a little more so I can actually believe it?
It's going to take a while for you to believe it, but you're a super psychic.
Thank you.
Okay?
Yeah.
You could be doing what I'm doing if you put your mind to it and got out of your own way. But would your family accept?
Well, I hope you can.
Would your family accept?
Well, I hope.
No, they wouldn't.
Thank you. I hope you invite me someday. I would love to help you out. Thank you.
Okay. So you're going to have to get over that needing to be needed by your family and looking to them for validation. You're not going to find validation from them. Okay. If you follow down a shamanic spiritual path, what is your family going to think of you?
Well, you already know the answer. Everybody knows.
Yeah. Can you live with it and still love them? And forgive them.
Of course. Yeah.
And know that they're going to berate and make fun of you. Okay.
Of course.
Okay.
They already did. It's way past that. They already did.
You haven't even jumped. Listen, you haven't jumped into the deep end of being a shaman yet. Come on.
Of course not. You're right. I just got my feet a little wet.
No, you still have shoes on, and your shoes are wet.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, if you can invite me to learn a little more, it would be very nice. Thank you very much, Andrew.
Just try listening to a couple more videos. Go by the ones with the names, The Fire Shaman Healing is a Process, Not an Event. They're there in a bunch of playlists on the YouTube channel.
Okay. Thank you.
So also I also have a 6-week online class called Living the Mystical Life Daily. I highly suggest it because it's a step-by-step process for you to go and learn the shamaning path. There's lots of exercises, out loud, name it to claim it systems that will help you by your ceremonial fire, reclaim your authentic sovereignty.
Thank you. I hope to speak to you again soon.
Definitely. I look forward to talking to you again. All right, Robert. Let's see. Is Monty in today? Does he want to come and chitter chatter with us for a few minutes? Holy shit, that's a lot of hands up.
I'm Monty. No, I'm Monty. I'm Monty. There's my wife.
Fuck, that's a lot of hands up. Thanks a lot, everybody. I guess I will go a little extra time.
Our most.
I haven't seen that many hands up in a while.
Well, do you want me to, go on just on the side there, and you want to do another caller?
Let me come off of these super healings that I've done for a little bit and regrounded some of the energy. What's going on with you, Monty?
Well, after these two callers, as a comic, we were like, oh, crap, how am I supposed to follow them?
That's actually why
that's
why I chose you. What do you do after two big-ass healings like that?
Yeah, it's like, it just reminds me of that episode of The Simpsons where Mr. Burns is doing something and Smithers is about to introduce Homer, and Smithers goes, just to let you know, oh, okay, you want to see me? Fine. There we go. Smithers says, just to let everyone know, a small puppy was killed in the car park. And now here's the comedy stylings of Homer Simpson. Like, that's not how you introduce a comic.
So how did those two healings affect you, Monty?
Well, it sort of I always sort of have backup questions if you do bring me on, which is, I seem to be the neutral observer, and it was like reinforcing what we sort of know in our subconscious or whatever part of us, because it was just seeing the chat explode from people had headaches, there was people crying, and I've got a joke: if you want to touch the face of love, face of God, get your finger like this and then do that. They're like, ooh. It was the right call at the right time, like both of them as well. And with the gentleman from Mexico, my brain started thinking of, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but the comedic side of the shaman, because there was a band called Tribal Clown. I'm like, oh, that's nice, here in Melbourne. And there's an element to the shamanistic stuff because some people are hoping for the comedy show tomorrow, and I had to crush them by saying that no, it's next week. But I suggested rewatch last week's because it was so funny, because there was tears there from laughter. And
yes.
It's interesting. Yeah, from the last two calls, there was tears because you could feel the emotional breaks, and without going too scientific, the blocks in the mind and the memory, and just everything falling into place. And it was mentioned in the chat that Rohan is going to have the next time he's sleeping. Woo! I've been enjoying my sleep. It's getting addictive. Mind you, I ate 3 pizzas yesterday, and the body didn't like that. So I think that was a lesson. But yeah, the what's the shamanistic side of using comedy in ceremony and all that type?
Plenty. They're called the Heyoka in the Native American path. They're the laughing shamans. Their purpose is to take the serious stick out of shamans' asses and to make them feel the comedy of laughter. And they're also laughing shamans who are healing laughter shamans. Wide varieties.
The comedy by telling the jokes, it's another way of breaking the energy, making you feel light, and it helps the blocks. That's why stand-up live comedy works so well when you've got 400 people in a room and the comic's good. There's a collective when everyone is on the same page or the same frequency. And from a performance point of view, you could do 15 minutes, but it goes like that.
Exactly.
There's an element. I use like that.
Like that show we did last week, my head was hurting the next morning. That my shoulders, my back of my head was still hurting the next day.
I love hearing when people are smiling so much their face hurts. It's like, stop making me laugh, you bastard.
Yes, exactly. And when the second lady called from her bathtub, oh my God.
Yes. Yeah. To clarify now, will David be in the bathtub next week?
Yes, he has agreed to be in the bathtub. Yes.
Oh, yeah, cool. Because we've got now a sub-spiritual genre of bathers.
It is, and bathers, yeah. And I guess David said he's going to sell his bathwater. Ha 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 ha.
Oh yeah. I won't be in the bath because
all for charity. All for charity.
Oh, of course, yes. I won't be in the bath because I don't fit in the bath. Hello, ladies. But basically, when I sit in it, then my knees got my nose because it's too small, or I'm too big. Yeah, so but I'll wear a towel.
There you go. Wear a wet towel. It'll be good.
Oh, no. Well, let's just calm down there. And because I realized too, we have personal conversations, and for those playing at home, I don't badger Andrew with questions because I want to know the human and not the galactic historian. But I realized I can ask questions now. Why am I try and think of questions that help everybody else, which is why I turn up to these shows, because the call, you can see, it's not for the caller, just for the caller. The ramifications ripple out where the teachings, just everyone, like, especially in the chat room, everyone's like, oh, I'm feeling this. Oh, thank you for reminding me. And they observe the experience, if that's one way of putting it.
Yes, they observe the experience, feel the experience, and get to know the experience as an experience.
Yeah.
Part of what I do is generate an energy so people can experience it. and it's a polymorphic energy that is there to be what people need in the moment. As an unlimited being and acknowledging of it, you can be in that moment everything and nothing.
Yeah.
Anybody can do it. That's the nature of shamanism and magic. It's doing it with the right intention and holding space for that energy so those that come on can go and feel it and take it home as a memory.
Yeah, and that's the primary purpose of me turning up here is, I mean, it's nice to talk to you, don't get me wrong, but it's usually the experience of everyone going through certain things like, yes, like the gentleman from Mexico with his girlfriend. I'm like, that reminds
Been
me
there.
of last.
Been there,
Like, yeah. And it's interesting with doing my round table. I realized that there's a certain caller that we're both familiar with. I won't have to give his name out. But I was talking to a friend, and I basically said I have to tune my frequency where I allow him in a certain aspect. And I jokingly said I try and find the octave higher to get the harmonic. So it's I don't sort of feel repulsed or whatever, and it's part of the experience, and it's not challenging him on his ideas or anything. But by hearing, he went for 15 minutes to start of the show. I'm like, okay, it's supposed to be a round table, but it's by having that, allowing that frequency, because I'm slowly having repeat lessons of everyone's on their own journey, and instead of judging, you just observe. It's like, oh, that's your trip. Okay, well, go ahead. And that's where that neutral observer is, which I find fascinating, because 2 weeks ago, I think it was, I decided that I'm not playing with this global narrative anymore. And I think a negative way of saying it is I don't care. But the flip side of that is the positive angle of I'm not going to invest anymore.
You're selling out. You're selling out on the global narrative and buying into your legacy of you.
Yeah, and like realize, because I've mentioned like being a hermit, and then the lockdown happened. It was like, oh, everyone's trying to be me. Hermits unite eventually, and it's it's just my reality bubble. Well, I know there's wars and all this crap's happening outside, but as that Bill Hicks quote says, when you watch CNN for 14 hours and then you look outside and it's beautiful, there's nothing, war, famine, death, AIDS, and then you go outside and you like, where is all this shit happening? And it's outside the dream bubble or just the experience. I can't remember the right term for it. And it's having just that acknowledgement where it's not ignoring what's happening as well, where that would be a negative connotation, wouldn't it? It's I think you mentioned it's in one of the two callers where you see suffering. You are aware of it, you don't block it, but you don't invest in it, where you take on that baggage, if that makes sense. Yeah,
that's right. That which you look back at you.
Yeah. And so it's just trying to find the comedic side of things, where it's I'm not really big into the Christian side of things. I like this Jesus chap people bring up. He's got some good ideas. I would think he would make a great coffee table because his dad had a really good business. However, I like 500 years ago, I was a monk, and in a past life, I went through all that. That Jesus was poor, so am I. I'm like, yeah, that's because Joseph had outlets across all of Galilee. Like, he was like Buddha as well. He at any point,
he had a lot of franchises.
Yeah, exactly. All these spiritual people come from a rich family angle. Like, at any point they can go back. So it's I've done that trip, and but I don't judge Christians, because that's where I'm coming from. Everyone, I'm not here to wake people up. I'm here to help people that's awake at the moment with my mission, I believe.
With your energy.
Yeah.
Your drive and motivation, which people feel. And every time I come to do one of these shows, I have a drive and a motivation to do it. And there are inner parts of me like, oh, more callers. I did a bunch of private sessions today. I got to take more callers. But then I look at that self-defeating side and say, I have eternal patience. I have the eternal connection to spirit. And that is what people are asking for. And that side fades away.
Yes. Yeah. I've also made that recognition that It's like a getting out of jail for free card in Monopoly. It's like, if anything goes wrong, yeah, but I'm human. It's because we're not a perfect being, which is in creation, we're perfect because of it. Because we are imperfect, so we're perfect. And if you're perfect on the planet, you'll leave because you've done your stuff.
Not necessarily. It might be
Oh,
drawn
okay.
back to help other people get rid of their stuff. That's called dharma.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, there's also the remembering everything else like that. So my question is, why am I here in Australia and I haven't connected to the Aboriginals? Am I supposed to change my frequency and then that will happen? Or am I something new? Or is it, because I know you did tell me about the roundtables. I'm working out karma because I've been a jester so many times, and everyone else that comes on, I'm hitting with the laughing stick, and so I'm working that out. Which is, once you've told me that, I'm like, this is much better. But yeah, I'm just wondering what the connection with Australia, and because I was born in England to Australian parents, and then flew over here. So, a side question: by being born in Nottingham, do I bring the where you're born? How much of the place of the energy is part of it? Like, how astrology, where all the planets are, and they help build a sub program of energy when you're created.
It does affect you, but not as much as you think.
Oh no, yeah. I don't feel like, oh my God, am I turning English? I'm just that curious because I feel English anyway.
So the thing is, the difference between United Kingdom and Australia, unless you're a part of the upper crust, you're just a peasant and a peon in both countries.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're also 1 degree removed from the direct lands of the Queen. And you needed to be 1 degree removed from the direct lands of the Queen and the bullshit energy that's created with that upper crust.
Yeah.
Now, as it relates to the Aborigines, you could just as easy connect to the Celtic energy, or even the Scottish Highland energy. There are indigenous cultures all over the world that you could connect to. If you haven't connected to them by now, it's probably not a giant purpose in you. It's a secondary purpose that you'll have to put effort into explore it and make friends there, so you can determine how that's going to influence the growing you out of choice.
Yeah,
not
I
out
think
of karma to discover it.
Yeah, it's the way my brain works. It's because their connection with the land, which can be anywhere. That's why all the shamanistic native tribes are. So I find it fascinating, but I don't lay awake at night wondering. It's a question that pops up occasionally where it's like, mind you, I'm because the Europeans have been here for about 250 years. And so I'm guessing I could be part of that bridging gap, but yeah, it hasn't turned up, and especially in this moment of now with everything going weird, it's just asking the question.
Well, again, Australia is an odd country when it comes to the importation of people all over the world who brought their culture. There are so many Greeks in Australia that there are more Greeks in Australia than there are in all of Greece, the country.
Yes, yeah, especially in Melbourne. Yeah, there's a large Greek.
Right, like there are more Greeks in just Australia than there are in the country of Greece.
Yeah, and strangely enough, it's like the second or third generation are born here. They still say, but I'm Greek. Where do you live? Doncaster. You're not Greek. You're Greek heritage.
Exactly. They're still connected via that energy.
Yeah.
But the land has asked them to be there.
Okay. Now, was it part of Lemuria or Mu?
No. You were asked as a spirit to ground your energy there.
Yes, I felt that a couple of times where, like, I was walking home under power lines, strangely enough, those really big ones. I felt like I would pull energy from up wherever and sort of connected it to the ground. It was just a split second and I didn't know what I was doing. But I've had moments like that where I'm here for a reason, just to be a witness, or which is part of the grounding of the energy.
To have experiences there.
Yeah.
Let's break it down to the most basic thing. You having experiences there is vastly different than having the same experiences anywhere else in the world.
Yes. because
And it'll be a singular, unique, universal experience for your soul, and that the energies of the land, positive, negative, neutral, and indifferent, will all affect you at a frequency 100-fold than any other place in the world.
Yeah, and well, Australia is very unique. Every animal wants to kill you if you don't leave them alone. And yeah, it's fascinating where there's an element from European settlement and the Aboriginals, and there seems to be a wound here from that.
Oh, there is. There's gigantic wounds, terrible,
Yeah.
terrible wounds. But when people begin to come together, wounds can be healed in the people, which will then be healed in the land.
Yes, yeah. I've seen bits where there are certain Aboriginal, the smart ones, who know that they can't go back to the old ways. The Australia of now has been created with the European and the natives, and they want to,
and the Asians and the Greeks and all the others that have come there.
Yeah. It's in a way the multicultural thing, which is it's interesting, where it's not like there's the idea of an Australian is an idea, and it doesn't mean you lose where you came from. You bring the good bits, and it adds to the, like people say there's no Australian culture. Well, in a way, it's a world culture, because we have everybody's here. There's one suburb here in Melbourne called Dandenong. Sounds like a genital. Let's move on. But they've got 180 countries represented in one sort of suburb, and there's I think 82 languages talked, and it's a pure melting pot.
Like Toronto is a giant melting pot.
Yeah, and it's fascinating where, like it's you can see it through food, where you got Chinese, Thai, Indian, Italian, the Greek. We have a lot of souvlaki bars.
I wish we had more of those here. Okay.
The battle of garlic sauce dripping over everything you own and you smell.
Is that garlic versus garlic lemon versus garlic lemon oregano?
The civil wars of Greece.
Exactly. The civil wars of Greece played out in Australia.
So with the neutral observer, especially in the last week, I think there's energies happening. The Schumann resonance sort of went quiet and then spiked and went up to 80 or something like that. And of course, I think there's 4 planets in retrograde at the moment. And it's interesting thinking something planned all this with the coronavirus being released at the end of the year, and everyone's been put on pause, because I feel like utter crap, like the spiritual elephant sitting in my head when I wake up.
Join the crowd.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I want to go back to work.
I've been taking lots of extra naps because I can't sleep through the night, let alone get to sleep at times. I've got so many spirits knocking on the door. It's crazy. I got to call my PA spirits. If you're not booking, exactly. If you're not booking a call and a time, you're not getting it.
There's an order here.
Exactly.
Yeah, my friend Melissa, who works with quantum healing, she's having the crap being out of her as well. On top of that, she's been a mother to 4 daughters who are homeschooled, and so like everything's exploded, which is, I think there's more plates in the air, and so I think it's while we're on pause in a way. I'm
letting a whole bunch of plates just fall off the stick.
Well, that's
somebody else can spin them if they want. The spirit's got plenty of free will.
Exactly. And the sleeping patterns are out of whack as well, which is, it's interesting because I enjoy sleep.
Because we're getting ready to come out of the solar minimum. Right now we're in the thick of the solar minimum, and in a couple more months, maybe a little bit more, we're going to start having similar solar frequencies as we did 2013, 2014, 2015, where you're all going to get cooked again.
Yeah, roast on a global scale.
Global psychic roasting.
I don't know if you saw it in chat, but I put in a lovely gag of who wants to be roasted. Well, I want to be roasted, and I responded, well, you can be roasted. I'm going to stand over near the salad bar.
What I loved was when Robert put up the roasted ET. That was so perfect.
Yeah, then the second time I'm like, oh, hang on, this is getting a bit cabalish.
Kebabolish.
Yeah, like,
Kebabolish.
you like children? Do you want them roasted or? Yeah,
Exactly.
That's the one was like, oh, that's
Exactly.
going a bit real.
Yes. Roast some blue chickens next.
Oh yes, yeah. Kentucky Fried Blue Chicken.
Exactly. All right, I think I'm done with the show. I've spent a lot of energy today. Thanks a lot for all the callers that have called in. Why don't you give people a way for them to contact you?
If you go into the war zone, that is Twitter. I am at Real Monty Dean. On YouTube, I'm Wafer Thin Entertainment, and I put the comedy shows up on my channel a week after they go. So in the next 24 hours, last week's show will be on there, as well as Instagram, which I just do memes, basically Monty.Dean. And if you're still on Facebook, it's just Monty Dean.
All right, everybody, make sure you hit like and subscribe on this video. Galactic History 2.0 is available. If you haven't got it, stop on by the Galactic Historian store and get over 40 hours of content, all for $88. Thanks a lot, everyone. We'll see you on the next show. Take us away, Robert. There we go.